In all 6 years of Dead by Daylight's history, Candyman has been speculated as a new killer numerous times, as well as a bunch of other really hyped IPs. My channel has really only been around for about a year, since the release of Trickster and every other killer that came after. So I'm not saying it's a whole database for new killer speculations, but maybe with videos like this we can get a little bit closer to that goal. And maybe we can explore DBD's history of other speculated IPs in the future. Today we're going to dive into the history between Candyman and Dead by Daylight. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you want videos like this one recommended to you by YouTube. If you want to know the backstory of licensing Candyman and the Candyman franchise, we already covered this in a previous video. I'll link it above if you're interested in watching that. We covered some of the Candyman speculations in that video, but in this video we're going to take a little bit of a closer look. So in the recent past, Candyman placed 6th in DBD Leaks' most wanted licenses tourney, and 5th in our most hyped licenses tournament from last year. There have been so many fake leaks and Candyman hoaxes well before either one of these tournaments. You see, all Candyman speculations began when Matthew Cote, the game director on Dead by Daylight, did a podcast with dual screens. This was on October 21st, 2019. That's 3 years and 4 months after the initial release of the game. When this interview happened, Dead by Daylight had a pretty solid lineup of licensed characters in the game, and people were wondering what other big licenses are possible in this game. In that podcast, Cote admitted that Candyman was a license that had been considered by Behavior Interactive as a DBD killer. So by the end of 2019, DBD speculation channels like Polyester and The King started considering Candyman as a legitimate possibility for the game. In December 2019, a cluster of patients in Wuhan, China began to experience a shortness of breath. This was later to be discovered the coronavirus. The first record of COVID hitting America confirmed by the CDC was January 20th, 2020. This pushed back production for a bunch of major films, one of them being the Candyman reboot. So people thought if the Candyman reboot was pushed back due to COVID, then the DBD Candyman chapter may have been pushed back as well. On February 29th, 2020, the Real Core Nick posted a Candyman and DBD concept on Twitter. It was a 12-part elaborate tweet post of a well-developed Candyman fan-made concept. The strange thing about this tweet was Tony Todd himself, the actor who played Candyman, liked the post. This baffled Polyester at the time, and this was the first time Tony Todd had actually ever interacted with anything Dead by Daylight related. February 2020 kinda marks the beginning of the strange clues and rumors surrounding the Candyman IP. Polyester was most confused with the fact that Tony Todd wasn't tagged in the tweet at all, but the post did say hashtag DBD and hashtag Candyman. The trailer for the new Candyman movie had just dropped, so Polyester speculated that Tony Todd had been searching hashtag Candyman and liking all the posts he saw on Twitter. On April 1st, or April Fool's Day, the official Dead by Daylight Discord changed some of the rooms and the server name to be associated with B's. The Hive chat, B tutorials, B questions, B discussions. Even the behavior employees changed their names and profile pictures to be B themed. The next day on April 2nd, SK on Twitter told Polyester that Tony Todd followed DBD on Twitter, and somehow Tony Todd liked that tweet as well, which is really strange because Tony Todd wasn't tagged and there were no hashtags used in the post. Poly also concluded that Tony Todd wasn't liking these posts like this one through a bot, because Poly posted a bunch of tweets about Tony and Tony Todd didn't like any of the tweets. So Tony Todd was actually liking all these tweets himself. At this time, Candyman and DBD would have been the first killer with an actor likeness. So a lot of people thought that Tony Todd will know if the Candyman IP was coming to DBD. The next day on April 3rd, Leaks by Daylight brought attention to the fact that Tony Todd was following DBD on Twitter. About a year earlier, Matthew Cote followed Joe Curie and Natalia Dyer on Twitter before the Stranger Things chapter was announced. So the rumors began that Candyman would be the next licensed killer in DBD. The 4-year anniversary was the next chapter, which would be announced by Behavior in 2 months after the Leaks by Daylight rumors. And at this time, Polyester had figured out that on Twitter you can actually see the order that people have followed an account. The account that Tony Todd had followed just before DBD was the official Candyman reboot Twitter. The first time the Candyman movie account posted was February 25th. So Poly concluded that Tony Todd most likely followed DBD between February 25th and February 29th of 2020. The Candyman anniversary chapter rumor started here. The dates for the potential Candyman chapter lined up perfectly. Dead by Daylight was to be at E3 that year. Before it was cancelled, E3 was to run from June 9th to 11th. The Candyman movie was still planned to release on June 12th. DBD's 4-year anniversary was on June 14th.
There's a couple that float to the top. Yeah, Candyman is definitely up there.
Again, new film coming out. It's a good marketing, tie-in for you guys. I'm sure you're well aware.
People have reminded me on a regular basis.
Yeah.
On April 9th, the King named Candyman as the frontrunner for the anniversary chapter.
Who exactly can we see coming into the realm of the fog in the near future? So obviously, starting at the top of the list, we have to talk about our guy, Candyman. Candyman is the hot topic right now. Everybody's on him.
In early May 2020, Scott John had said this about the highly anticipated anniversary chapter.
Do I buy any of the Candyman hype? It's not Candyman.
This is one of the most famous clips in Dead by Daylight history. You see, Scott Junt had an inside source at the time that had shown him who the Chapter 16 killer was. Scott confidently discrediting Candyman caused polyester to rethink the possibilities for Chapter 16. Scott Junt's Twitch community begged him for more information about Chapter 16 since he claimed to know who the killer was. And Scott said, "I can't say anything because you'll just figure it out by elimination. But no, it's not Candyman because that's fucking dumb. You don't need insider info to know that it's not him." Figuring out a killer by elimination led many people to start thinking that Chapter 16 was licensed. On May 7th, Mass from DBD Leaks leaked that the Chapter 16 anniversary killer could only be bought with Oryx cells, meaning that the chapter was definitely licensed. The next day, a behavior developer said, "Man, this Dead by Daylight anniversary is gonna be pretty sweet." About a week later, on May 15th, 2020, Tony Todd tweets about having a voiceover session. Ryan on Twitter said, "Can you share a hint as to what you're laying your voice on? Or does an NDA say negative?" Tony responded, "NDA." Obviously, we've had a pretty thorough history of iconic killers and horror characters not even knowing about their licensed chapter in DBD. At this time, people were thinking that Tony Todd might be the first killer with an actor likeness. Behavior had already worked with Bruce Campbell for the Ash Williams paragraph, so people thought that the same thing could be happening with Tony Todd and Candyman, meaning that Tony Todd would be aware of a Candyman chapter in DBD. Not King, whoever that might be, responded to Tony Todd's voiceover tweet and asked for a game or something else. Tony responded, "Film." May 19, 2020, DBD tweets an announcement for the 4-year anniversary and releases this anniversary poster. And people associated the color of the golden 4 with honey from a beehive. Candyman being speculated so much for the anniversary led the DBD community to one of the biggest surprises of all time on May 26th. Scott Junt streamed the live release of the Candyman chapter.
God, Candyman looks so good, dude. God, Candyman looks so good, dude.
So after the Silent Hill release, rumors started to form around the fact that the Candyman film was postponed to September 25th due to COVID-19. And people wondered, will the Candyman chapter also be postponed from June to September? But there is no Candyman chapters or real speculations for about a year. In fact, the next time there was evidence Candyman could be an upcoming killer, a new DBD YouTuber named Schmuckles was breaking into the speculation scene. April 24th, 2021, Behavior releases a satisfaction survey. So Behavior tweeted out a satisfaction survey yesterday. So they released a satisfaction survey, and they asked which possible licenses would you most be interested in seeing added to DBD. Candyman was listed as one of those licenses. This started a new wave of Candyman speculations because just 3 days earlier, on April 21st, Jirayfire on Twitter said, "I want to see a Candyman horror game with Tony Todd in it." And Tony Todd responded, "Just wait." A lot of people, myself included, thought this meant Candyman could be coming to DBD. Gun Media's new top secret game was rumored to either be a Michael Myers game or a Texas Chainsaw Massacre game. On top of that, after the big Resident Evil anniversary chapter, DBD Leaks posted on July 31st that the cosmetic release schedule for the Chapter 21 killer heavily suggested that it was going to be a licensed killer. And the Chapter 21 killer is a paragraph killer, meaning no new survivor. So at this time, we went over all the possibilities and kind of eliminated any chapters that would make no sense without a survivor, including Pinhead actually. A lot of people, myself included, consider Candyman to be most likely for Chapter 21.
The front runner, in my opinion, is Candyman. And I know it's a meme. I know we've been talking about Candyman for ages. We made multiple videos on him. My friend Polly has made so much videos on him, and it's a meme by this point, right? First of all, the big cherry on top is that Tony Todd, who is the actor of Candyman, actually tweeted out saying, "Just wait," in reference to someone asking if Candyman should come into a video game. Why on earth would he tweet something like this if it wasn't true? If it's not true, it'd be a big head scratcher on why he did this. Maybe he's just poking fun at people, but I find it highly unlikely that he would build up hype amongst people because of all the backlash he could get.
We were told by DBD Leaks that the new chapter would come in with an ultra rare or legendary skin which transforms a licensed character into a completely new character. This put a hole in the Chapter 21 Candyman theory. Who would be the ultra rare or legendary skin for Candyman? It couldn't be anyone from the new Candyman reboot because the PTB was scheduled before the world premiere of the reboot. The only character that made sense was Helen Lyles from the original Candyman movie, a Candy Woman. Halo from my Twitch community said we've never had a legendary skin that transforms the gender of the character. So the Candyman theory didn't quite fit. So right now we're looking for a licensed chapter that can transform the killer into a different character of the same gender from the same franchise as a legendary skin. Preferably only from one license holder and preferably on the satisfaction survey. Do you know any franchises out there that match this description? Let me know in the comments below. Chucky kind of matches this description with the MGM Chucky legendary skin. However, he wasn't on the satisfaction survey, so I don't think it's a perfect fit. Out of all the theories we covered, Pinhead actually matches this this theory pretty perfectly, right? That's one license holder, New World Pictures, and the legendary skin could be from one of the male Cenobites from the original Hellraiser. And actually, Halo put together most of that theory during the Twitch stream. So if it's Pinhead, then that's pretty Fivehead from Halo. I'm not gonna lie, going into that Chapter 21 teaser week, even though Pennywise, Springtrap, and Pinhead were all heavily teased, I still thought the teasers were gonna end up revealing Candyman as the new killer because the tweets from Tony Todd were so telling. Since then, Tony Todd has been a voice artist for a few video games. Still none with Candyman as a playable character though. Tony Todd also voiced a character in Dota's Dragon Blood in January of 2022. This would also explain Tony Todd's most recent voice recordings tweet from last year. There's no real speculations about Candyman in Dead by Daylight as of right now. According to Tony Todd, Candyman will be licensed through MGM. Behavior's already worked with these license holders, and I have to think that they've already tried to get this license. So based on everything we know, it seems like it could be a long time before Candyman ever comes into DBD. This has been a DBD history video. Let me know if there's any other IPs you want me to take a look at. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.